Okay, we're going to walk through Curtin Springs Wildlife Habitat, starting here in the parking lot of Club Green Meadows and Cameo Cafe, and across the street are apartments with no name, and then the Woodlands apartments, and someone once asked me if they could park here without getting towed away, and yeah, if you're here for a short time, an hour or two, nobody will know where you are, and you can always go in to the Cameo Cafe if you feel like you want to support them. So there's a lot of good people in the world doing good. I'm reading Conversations with God. I forget the name of the author, but he says he was writing down questions that he had for God, the creator of this universe, and his hand started writing answers. And so he doesn't call himself a prophet or an enlightened being, or even a very powerful soul, like one of the answers God says Jesus was very powerful, but he chose to suffer crucifixion at the end to set an example for the power that we all have if we connect with God. Maybe not in one lifetime will we be that powerful, maybe not in 10, but eventually we can become like Jesus, very powerful being. I did a video on page 52, reading one of the sections that I thought was really interesting, and then I'm working on another one. I'm working on a song based on one of the things that a lot of people ask: why does God let so many horrible things happen? So many people do such horrible things to themselves and others. And God's answer was, in the book that is, that he gives us the power that he has, the power of creation, that is. Not that we can create a universe, but that we could create a lot. And we have that freedom to use without judgment by God. Although the creation does have certain rules or laws, you want to call them, physics, chemical, psychological, and God said that everything God does is with joyful, loving, accepting, blessing, and grateful. God's grateful. Wow. And God recommends that we do everything, every thought, word, and action in a joyful, loving, accepting, blessing, and grateful way. So, can we do that? Oh, we got a urban camper here, I guess. Maybe taking a walk through the wildlife habitat. Maybe relieving themselves in the wildlife habitat. We got human wildlife. Alright, so this is Curtin Springs. I walked past the other entrance. I like to alternate, coming in one entrance and going out the other one every time. There's an orchard over there with apple and pear trees, and a little sign about dogs. A lot of people think this is a dog park, but it's not intended to be a dog park. Dogs are supposed to be on a leash, and they're supposed to pick up after their pet. Some of the people do. Some of the people even pick up after other people's dogs. So, that's just the way it is. There are these paths. The main path goes by the house, and down there is kind of what I think was intended to be a parking lot, bigger than what it is now. But this walking path is interesting. Gee, even with the rain we've had, the grass is pretty small, short. Somebody does mow these paths for us to walk, which is nice. We got a bunch of holly plants over here, I think. All those plants look like they're pretty dried out. So, got some trees, barrier between the 25 acres of Curtin Springs wildlife habitat and Haddon Parkway, and hopefully there'll be more coming up in the future. And let's see, hard to tell with all the green grass here in this corner where the path starts, but I think we got it here. This is it. So it takes about 15-16 minutes to walk the path if you don't stop. I originally started this because I tried to encourage people to come over here and walk. Being in nature is a really good way to relieve stress and to, shall we say, dispel depression. So I encourage people to do that, and if you can't be here in person, maybe you can watch this video. A few people do every time I post it. And the other thing was, I don't know how long I'll be able to do this, but see how things change over the years. There's a little wildlife space, a little hole for a rabbit or a mouse or a rat. They're all rodents. Rabbits are the rodents that people tend to like more than rats and mice, but they're all related more than they are to us, that's for sure. They're related to each other. So it's starting to green up. We're coming into the rainy season, December through May. But a beautiful sunny day today. I brought my umbrella. Only I think a 25% chance of rain, or getting caught with rain on the way to or from work. It's about a 10-minute walk for me. So, regarding depression, I try to study quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and there's a lot of free courses. The MIT course from 2013 is pretty good. Lecturer. He lectured for a couple years and then moved on to a better job. And there's one in Germany that I started recently. In the first lecture of the quantum mechanics at MIT in 2013 said that electrons have properties of a wave or a particle. I forget which one. But anyway, it does have that properties. That's what CRT tubes are, and where they shot electrons at the screen, and we call it a TV or a CRT, cathode ray tube, the old style for computers, old style monitor, that's what it's called. So the second lecture was the fact that electrons function as a wave with the slit or two-slit experiment, the interference pattern that looks just like a wave, like a water wave, and how it goes through two slits in a wall on the surface of the water. And then in the third lecture, he proves that it doesn't function sometimes like a wave or a particle. So his conclusion was it's not a wave, it's not a particle, even though it has some attributes and often behaves like one of a particle or a wave. So his conclusion is it's an electron. Whatever that means, we don't know. Well, when you think about the creation of the universe, there are an seemingly infinite number of electrons. Hydrogen has 1, and helium has 2, and so on and so forth. I think somebody was talking about gold is element number 79, so it has 79 electrons. That's a lot of electrons. And you think about all the different elements in the house that you're living in, even if it's just a tent, and all the earth, and of course all the other planets. Earth is just a medium-sized planet, or small, one of the smaller ones. Mercury being the smallest, Jupiter being the largest, and Venus and Mars being a little smaller than Earth, I believe, or a lot on Venus's case. And then of course Saturn, Uranus, and even some of their moons, I think, are bigger than the Earth. And then of course the Sun. The Sun has so many electrons, so many protons. So I think of the electron as an amazing invention, I guess, creation, whatever you want to call it. And good reason not to be depressed, not to take your own life. I mean, we're here to learn, we're here to create, and we're here to improve. So any progress we can make in this lifetime will benefit us in the next lifetime, I believe. Although I haven't got to that part of the book where God talks about that. But I also practice yoga philosophy, similar but different. In yoga philosophy, I've read in one text, talked about 4 things that we should do. One is we should greet virtue with joy. How many times do we not do that? Can we greet virtue with joy? And it recommends we turn away from non-virtue, not put emphasis on it. A friend of mine really likes to focus on the negative people in the world and their actions, but yoga says just turn away from it. Don't give it thought, word, or action. And then they talk about pain. Greet pain with compassion. Whether it's pain in ourselves or others, treat it with compassion. And of course, if we can do something to relieve our pain, or if somebody asks us to help them relieve their pain, we should consider it compassionately. So, what's the 4th thing? Greet joy with friendship. Greet joy with friendship. So, even if somebody's joyful about doing something painful to somebody else, harmful, we should greet that joy with friendship. Although we want to turn away from the action itself, or the thought, or the word. So, we're coming toward the home stretch of our walk tour of Curtin Springs Wildlife Habitat here in Vancouver, Washington. And bless the people and budget that gets this path mowed. And looks like the dog owners have been doing a really good job today of cleaning up after their dogs. So looks like we have a mole or a vole. I guess one is a omnivore and one is a vegetarian, just eats plant roots. And I can't tell the difference between the piles that they push out when they are tunneling through their underground world. I do collect that dirt that they kick up, mix it with compost and sometimes some soil amendments like biochar. I use it in my garden or putting in pots. I went with somebody who gave me a ride to potluck in Portland, Oregon recently, and I asked her if she wanted a aloe vera plant, and I was able to give her 3, 2 tiny ones, babies that I had separated from the parent, and 1 medium-sized one, and she was thrilled. Her friend offered her one, but she told her not to mail it to her. And a couple days later, I gave her them. So, serendipity, or whatever you want to call it, if everything in the universe is connected somehow, some way, it's things just happen that. So, I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of the Curtin Springs wildlife habitat, and I hope someday you can visit yourself. I don't know if you noticed, but I could see there are some picnic tables around the house up there, and it's a good place to come out and spend a little time sitting and watching, and eventually the wildlife will flourish here on these 25 acres. And wouldn't be a bad idea to put some trees along the road here, block out that sound. Wouldn't be a bad idea to turn that house into a museum of some sort, or some kind of visitor center or whatever, and have events here occasionally. So if you're so inclined and so enabled to donate money to the county to have that happen, or volunteer your time and your talents to make it happen, which is even more appreciated than money in many ways. And yeah, it is Clark County, Washington, gov.parks. It's part of the parks. 7 a.m. to dusk. All right. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you very much for watching.